When you step outside on a clear night and look up, the sky feels incredibly peaceful. Everything up there, like the glowing face of the moon, seems completely still and permanent. But that quiet stillness is a trick of the eye. Speeding up time, we'd see space is a wildly active construction site. Every single star and planet has a specific origin story, a recipe that we can trace backwards, step by step. To figure out how our modern universe was built, we have to flip our perspective and look backward. Imagine we could press a giant cosmic rewind button. We watch Earth's history blur backward, past the dinosaurs, past the formation of oceans, all the way back to before our planet existed. As we keep rewinding, the entire universe shrinks down. Galaxies pull closer together, moving faster and faster, until everything collapses into a single tiny point. This incredibly hot, dense speck of energy, sitting in the dark billions of years ago, is the beginning of everything we know. That single dot contained all the raw materials for existence. Now we can hit play and watch it unfold. During the Big Bang, space itself stretched outward in every direction at once. Immediately after that initial spark, the expanding universe was a massive fireball of thick, white-hot gas. Over the next million years, as the fireball kept expanding, it finally began to cool down. It was similar to how hot steam eventually cools off and turns into water droplets. This cooling phase was a necessary step. If the gas had stayed that hot, matter would have just burned up instead of forming the structures we see today. Once the gas cooled off enough, a new force started to take control: gravity. Because the gas wasn't perfectly smooth, gravity began pulling it together into messy, localized clumps. These were the infant seeds that eventually grew into entire galaxies. Over the next 5 billion years, these giant gas clouds continued to shrink. As they did, they started spinning, eventually flattening out like dough being tossed in the air. Deep inside these spinning pockets, the gas was squeezed so tightly together that the center became hot enough for the very first stars to ignite. Without gravity's ability to gather those materials into clumps, the universe would have remained a dark, empty fog. You might wonder how we know all this if nobody was around billions of years ago to see it. The proof is like a campfire that burned out days ago. Even though the flames are gone, you can still feel a faint, lingering heat in the ashes. This map shows the faint, leftover heat that still fills the sky from the very beginning. It is essentially a baby picture of the universe. The different colors on this map show where the heat is slightly stronger or weaker. Those tiny ripples represent the thicker patches of gas that gravity eventually pulled into those infant galaxies. Detecting this ancient heat coming from every direction in the sky is the physical proof that this timeline is real. When we fast forward back to the present day, we see the results. Those early clouds of gas have matured into massive structures, forming at least 125 billion galaxies. If we zoom in on just one of those clusters, we find our own spiral galaxy, our yellow star, and finally our rocky blue planet. Every single atom in your body was made through this exact sequence of cosmic events. This diagram shows the universe as it looks today, but the story hasn't stopped. Space continues to stretch outward even now. We are watching two possible endings. A closed universe might eventually stop stretching and shrink back down, while an open universe would expand forever. Astronomers are gathering data right now to solve this final mystery. The universe is still busy building itself, and we are all part of that